Hello and welcome back to Thursday Morning with Linda Z's. I'm Debbie and today it is still Serger month. And so I've got a serger here, I've got a sewing machine here, and I've got a project right in front of me. We're going to be inspired from this relatively antique pillowcase that I adore. I love it. It's a Laura Ashley from a long time ago. And I just thought ruffles, pretty ruffles. And the new collection by Tilda, the Sunday brunch collection, inspired me also. So this is, if you can see it close up, it's pretty flowers. It's kind of a Frenchy looking theme. I love it. So a traditional type of flowery fabric. And so yeah, Sunday brunch is the fabric. And so I'm going to make a pillow and be inspired by this never throw these away, Nikki and Morgan. I've got two of these. I love them. So yeah, and it's inside this really cute plushy down pillow. So I've been inspired by that. And then these stripe that I'm going to use for the back is also from Tilda. It is the Creating Memories. So this is like a blender. So it's something that you can use. That we will be definitely rebuying and buying more of because it's very, very good fabric for blending. And so, and shout out to Donna who suggested that I use the selvage, which is very cool because it's a woven fabric. So you've got the fringe weave on the selvage, and I use that for the handles that we will be using to tie the pillowcase together. When it's completed. So I only attached one set of these straps, and then I'll be doing the other set while we work together today. So yeah, this is the back of the pillow form is open, so it's overlapping, and I took two pieces of the striped fabric and I just hemmed it on each side here. So you can see that I've hemmed it a tight hem about 1/4 inch in, double folded hem, and just straight stitched all along that, top stitched along that on both sides. So those are the back of the pillowcase. So the first thing I'd like to start off with is this bias, the cut on the bias, the same fabric as the backing of the pillowcase, the 2.5 inch strips. And so I was having fun. I did I don't know, there's like 5 or 6 yards of it, right? So, but then I realized, because I want to gather, right? So I didn't know how much I would need. So I just made a lot because I didn't know, and I'll probably be using this whole pile to gather. Because once I started gathering, this was a piece that was like a yard long, this little tiny section of gather that I just started making just to see how much I would need. And so, and then I realized that I was using a cotton thread to make this gathering. And after I gathered it, the thread broke. So I was like, oh, that's not going to work long term. So I'm going to substitute over to a polyester thread. And another suggestion of Donna was to, instead of using 2 parallel strip lines along the edge of the strip, so wrong sides together, there's a fold on this end. So it's doubled, right? It's not a single layer gather. It is a ruffle. It is a folded ruffle. So it's very pretty, and it's going to be encased right inside the pillowcase. So what the other suggestion that Donna had for me was to use a heavy cord and to zigzag over it. So I'm going to try that right now and see how that works on the next section of gathering here to... Actually, you know what? I might just pull out this whole section of gathering. Yeah, it's easy because the thread breaks really fast. So I can pull that out, and then I can, so you can see how long that was, that piece to begin with. And then it shriveled up into a very short piece of ruffle. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the machine. This is a Brother BQ 2500 Innovis Quilt Club series from Brother, yeah. It's a very, very nice machine. Love this machine. There's a lot of space. You can do sewing. You can drop your feed dogs and do free motion quilting if you want. There's all kinds of features. You have an automatic needle threader on here, which is fabulous. Love it. So that's really great. I've got it set up with my polyester thread in both the top and the bottom, and Let me just pull some of this extra thread from my baste out of here. I've got a raw edge where my where my fabric is folded hot dog style, right, all the way the length of the strip, and a fold on the one side. So I am going to bring this over to the machine, and I'm going to create a zigzag across the edge inside, and I'm going to zigzag down this really thick cording that I have here. And so it could be any cording. I'm just going to try this method to see if this one, and then of course my thread is polyester now, so it's going to be a lot stronger than my cotton thread was before. So let's get a big tail of the green here, bring it over to the machine, bring that tail behind. So it's just that question of getting things together here. I'm going to bring my needle down, my foot down. So yeah, I could keep the raw edge right up against the right hand side of the presser foot there. And let's just see what that looks like first. So my width is longer, and let me see what my length is, 1.4. Maybe I'll lengthen that as well, just because I want it kind of a based. So let's go to 2. Whoops. And I would like to pile up a little bit of this cording so that it's not gonna, so it's going to be easily accessible as I go down my strip here. Okay, let's go ahead and start. There's my speed at halfway. I can go all the way up if I want to on this one. Just trying to go over the top of my cording, make sure that I'm not stitching down my cording. I want it loose in there. And I'm a little bit farther than the edge of my presser foot, it looks like, but I like it sort of down the middle of the strip, because I don't need a huge ruffle. I want the ruffle to be about just less than a half of an inch over the edge of my pillow. It's not going to ruffle until I'm done. I'm going to pull the cord, and that's how I'm going to ruffle it. The strength of the cord and between the strength of the cord and the polyester thread, I think we're good to go here. Okay, so I've got this cording all zigzagged down to the raw edge side, about half of an inch away from the raw edge of this strip of fabric, this 2.5 inch strip of fabric. And so I am gathering it now into a ruffle. And this might take a while, so I'm just, and I'm going to end up with a huge long piece of cord here at the end before everything is said and done. So, I mean, you can see how long it is. There is a lot. But if you want it to be this really rich type of a ruffle, so I I had a half of a yard of fabric that I cut on the bias. And I can show that in another video, how I made that. It was a continuous bias, so I just sewed together the piece the way you should do in a continuous bias when you're cutting bias bias fabric on the bias. And so with this is a half of a yard of fabric turned into 2.5 inch strips of bias. So I'm going to keep gathering here, and when I've got my ruffle pretty tight and in one big ruffle piece, then we'll be back. So I'll just be right back. Okay, so I've got my ruffle all ruffled up, and I was just running around the outside of the pillow to make sure that I had made enough ruffle, and it looks like I'm definitely okay. I've got just a one length too much, which is great. I'd rather have that way than not enough. So, and I'm going to play it safe a little bit. I put my machine away, but I'm going to bring my machine back because I'd like to straight stitch this down. So with the raw edges toward the raw edges all the way around the pretty side of the pillow top, so that I am sure that when I sandwich it together with the back and then serge around the outside, that I'm not going to be somehow cutting off or messing with my ruffle, right? So I'm going to take this ruffle and I'm going to clip it all the way around, and I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to stitch it at about a 1/2 inch seam allowance to the right side of my pillow top. So when I'm done with that and I bring the machine back, I'll be back. Okay. So now that I have the machine back, I'm going to stitch down the 2 tassels to the back of the piece of backing. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I just want to reinforce that by flipping it over to the other side. And then I'll do 2 sets of stitch down. So I'm just tacking down the tie and going in reverse, forward, reverse, forward, reverse. Just so that, you know, from all the washing of this pillowcase, it will be sturdy enough to withstand being tied and untied a lot. So there we go. That's my first tie. And on the other side, I will do this other one as well. Okay, there we go. Got my 2 ties done. Okay, so those are ready and I'll keep those on the side. So what I really want to do is I want to stitch down my ruffle so that it doesn't go anywhere when I actually put the sandwich together to close off the pillowcase. So here I'm just going to go, and I'm going to keep it a pretty tight stitch down to 2.0 because I want to hold that gathering in place at the same time as I'm stitching it down to the pillow. So let's bring the needle down, foot down, and yeah, I'm at about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm just going to be on the inside of the zigzag stitch that I created the ruffle with. Looks like, as you can see over here, it's being held in place, and this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to keep going all the way around, and I will be back. So here I'm at the last corner, and I'm going to be overlapping the start point of my ruffle. So I'll just take this, pop up the inside of the ruffle there at the corner, and just line up the raw edges. See, it's been twisting on me a little bit, but it's fine. I'm able to control it pretty well, and I'm glad that I opted for this stitching down here because it's been, then I know for sure it's going to stay in place. Bring that way, down that way. Keep that towards the outside, the end of the beginning. The end of the beginning. I like that. That's pretty funny. Of my start point. So I'm just going to go over about 1 inch or so. And then I'm going to stitch off the edge and scissor cut. Okay, so that will be my, so you can see where it overlaps. It's going to be fine. Oh, you can see where it overlaps. It's going to be just fine. And I'm just going to try to trim this off. Okay, so I've got my project pretty side facing up with the ruffles towards the inside. I'm putting the backing over the top of this pillowcase and right side facing down. And so the bigger piece is on top because when I flip it around, then that will be underneath that bigger piece. So I do want that to be on the inside of the flap, the bigger piece. So I'm going to now clip around the outside of the pillow. Okay, so I've got all of my clips all the way around that are holding the project pretty well in shape. Got my ruffle towards the center, and I'm going to start from this corner, my upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to go one of these sides where I'm trying to hold the overlap together. That's going to be my first side. And over here on my L890 serger, I do have it set up for a 4-thread overlock. And so I've got the 2 needles and I've got 2 loopers, the upper and the lower looper, and it's all sort of a grayish blue thread, which will never be seen because it's going to be on the inside of my pillow. But let's go ahead and I see this these ties are, I've tried to clip them together, but I'm going to actually clip them to the flap so that they do not flap out, and I don't want to cut them off by my serger because there is a blade on my serger. So I went ahead and I did a test run, a trial run, and you can see I don't know if you can see it, but that's the stitch that we're going to stitch all the way around, and it looks great. So let's go ahead and start. In that upper right hand corner, like I said, gonna lift up my presser foot, remove the first clip, get in there so that I'm gonna try to avoid cutting anything because I really don't need to cut anything off. So I'm gonna be right next to the blade. The only thing it's gonna cut off is maybe just some of the fray, some of the fringe that's there from cutting and things like that. So here we go, off to the races. We're going around the entire outside, and then we'll flip it around to the inside when we get to the when we finish. I always like to look see how that looks. Ooh, it looks great back there. Okay, and I'm just going along slowly here. Don't have to be too much in a race. It does come with a little cup that will catch all of this stuff here, but I forgot that at home, of course. So this is the easiest part. So save the easiest for last, right? Is you working with these overlocking machines. It's very simple and very fun. I'm just going right along, and I'm going to stitch off the edge of the side, and I am going to then go to my next side. Looking good on this last side. Just had a little bit of fuzz there. Let's just trim that off. So it looks like we got all of our fabric. Everything is sewn in. That's great. I can just trim these corner threads. I am going to turn it to right sides out, and I'm going to bring my sewing machine back up because we're going to then top stitch around the outside of, here's our ruffles are popping out. It looks pretty good. So I've got my pillowcase, but the last step is going to be to stitch a top stitch around the outside here. Okay, so I'm just at the first corner here. I'm going to just do my top stitch all the way around, and just right at the edge of just to top it down, keep the ruffle straight, keep everything looking good. So I'm just going to go all the way around, and as soon as I'm done with that, I'll be back. So here is the finished project, and just thought I would show that to you. Got my top stitch all around the outside, got my ruffle. I feel like I'm back in the 1980s. And I used my 2 machines here to get this done, and it was quite a lot of fun. And so have a nice Thursday, everyone, and we will see you next time.